Just a quick thank you to everyone who's helped organise this event. Our group has had a lot of fun. So we're going to start by walking you all through a scenario. Imagine you're forced to flee your home overnight. You arrive in a new country with no passport, no certificates, no bank records, nothing that proves who you are. Your identity isn't just questioned, it's completely inaccessible. This is an issue that's been discussed across a variety of security and privacy studies, and although the scenario might seem distant, it is the everyday reality of millions. According to the UNHCR report for 2024, by the end of that year, 123.2 million people have been forced to flee their homes. And what happens when you then arrive in a host country? Well, in the UK, the application registration card, the ARC, confirms an asylum claim, but isn't typically accepted in everyday identity checks that modern life depends on. Everything from opening a bank account to renting a room, even completing online government forms. In other words, a vulnerable group with legal rights is left completely unable to exercise them. And there are three key problems here. First, a lack of clarity. Institutions such as GP surgeries and banks vary in how they recognise ARC cards, with many not reliably accepting them as proof of identity. Second, there's no data control. Asylum seekers can't see, update, or track what data is held about them, so errors linger and trust erodes. Third, delays and errors. The ARC system relies on manual caseworker updates, which frequently leads to errors. Even when asylum seekers and refugees are granted the right to work, their documentation often goes unissued or unupdated unless explicitly requested. Research has shown that this not only leads to delays, but vital missed opportunities. Now, the politicization of asylum seekers and refugees has only made the situation more complex. But with a system that is increasingly under scrutiny, changes must be made to both increase government efficiency and restore dignity in engaging with its services. There is thus a real need for practical bridges that let people prove just enough to the right party at the right moment.
So we're proposing a government ID that people can control. It uses W3C verifiable credentials, so it's easy to prove and hard to fake. You can carry it both on your phone or as an NFC card. For those with smartphones, which are an estimated 80% of people who have refugee status, albeit there's no official consensus, a government-backed mobile wallet will be provided. For those without a smartphone, a tamper-resistant NFC card as a backup until a smartphone can be procured. It complements the UK VI status and e-visas rather than replace them. It turns existing rights like permission to work or the right to rent into verifiable minimal proofs that can be checked quickly and securely. Here's how it works step by step. First, there will be issuance at first temporary residence doing screening and biometrics. Credentials like asylum claim in progress, right to work, over 18, or is registered at a GP are issued and cryptographically signed by the appropriate authority, such as a Home Office or the NHS. Secondly, the solution will rely on decentralized storage, either in their mobile wallet or in their physical NFC card. So how does verification work? A service certified by the UK Digital Identity and Attributes Trust Framework, where an employer or landlord will then only see what's absolutely necessary. For example, a simple right to work, answered yes. The holder consents to selectively disclosing that one attribute. Finally, life cycle controls will be present. For example, if status changes, credentials can be updated or revoked. An audit log is also preserved so holders can see what they've shared, with whom and when. Translations to multiple languages will also be available. Minimum data and maximum utility.
So to illustrate the system we've just described, we thought we'd consider the following case studies. First, a refugee in Glasgow might have their digital ID credential with the right to work attribute set to yes. Her employer would then need to scan a QR code from her mobile wallet or tap her physical card. The verifier in this case would return only that attribute and its value, so the right to work set to yes. There'd be no 2-week limbo while caseworkers chase updates, no repeating the same story across different government departments. Next, an asylum seeker in Manchester might want to register with a GP. The practice would tap their card to confirm what's strictly needed. Their identity would be verified, their temporary address confirmed, or their GP status if they've already been registered at another practice. He's onboarded without demanding documents that he simply doesn't have. In both cases, only the minimum data is revealed, thereby ensuring dignity and reducing administrative friction.
There are several benefits to this approach. Firstly, as the examples highlight, accessing public services will avoid unnecessary administrative back and forth, which often wastes time and money. So asylum seekers and refugees can access the legally entitled rights without any fuss, which is so common in the asylum system. Selective disclosure also ensures that verifies it only what's required, so no full immigration history. This could put some asylum seekers in particular danger, considering the sensitivities of the case. Our solution extends the e-visa share code model to asylum seekers and refugees currently excluded by using widely adopted open standards and the UK's Digital Identity and Attributes Trust framework for certified verification. So the system is hybrid by design. Asylum seekers and refugees hold both the mobile wallet and the smart card from day one, or just a smart card in absence of a smartphone, with the potential for assisted digital support through hotlines for onboarding and recovery.
And while some risks persist, they can be mitigated. So security risks could be addressed through on-device storage, coupled with end-to-end encryption and multi-factor authentication. This will reduce the threat of data leaks. Clear audit logs should also be available to credential holders so they know exactly who their data has been shared with, and all verifiers will possess distinct identifiers. Finally, there should be independent oversight, for example, a governance group including technical experts from government and NGOs who can oversee standards, audits, and complaints. And when it comes to social acceptance, well, we recognise this could be a significant barrier. We think our final solution should be co-designed with asylum seekers and refugee communities. It could be piloted with a small number of select councils, say ones with dense asylum seeker populations, and then tweaked with user feedback before being scaled countrywide.
So what success looks like and what we ask. So we'll measure success with the following metrics. From the time taken to register with the local GP at the first place of residence and open a bank account, sampled amongst asylum seekers and refugee groups across the country, especially in dense urban areas. Secondly, data confirmed fewer casework escalations and duplicate registrations. Finally, success will be measured by surveys substantiating user-reported control and trust. So the next step would be a pilot that issues a verified mobile wallet at an existing UK VI touchpoint, which also enables certified verification for employers, landlords, and NHS services, while offering a NFC physical card fallback from day one. This enables a vulnerable group to exercise their legally entitled rights and reduce administrative load. But more importantly, it would restore their dignity, the ability to prove who you are securely, quickly, and on your own terms. So thank you for listening, and we're more than happy to answer any questions.